Hello, my budgeting friends. Welcome back to my channel, Books and Budgets. Today is going to be something that's maybe a little more connected to my books content than my budgeting content. I really wanted to do this for quite some time. I would like to do some kind of weekly check-in on any of the things non-budget that I am trying to keep track of or trying to work on or trying to improve. So I just thought I'd start this kind of Monday metrics. A lot of times I've been thinking about filming it either on Sunday or on Monday, and the Monday metrics thing is just stuck in my head. So that's what I'm going to call it. I'm really going to try to do it post it every Monday. And to tell you that this is something I've been thinking about and been nervous about, I don't know why. I share my real numbers on my budget. I tell you how much money I make and how much debt I have and how many bills I pay. But suddenly telling you whether or not I remember to plan in my planner seems too personal. I don't know what's up with that. I do know that I have shot possible episodes for this twice in the past and have never posted them. I couldn't even bring myself to edit them. I don't know what's up with that. But we're going to try this. We're going to try something new. So I have five things that I would like to try to kind of hold myself accountable for this week. It may be something completely different next week, but we're going to try starting with these five. And the very first one I just mentioned, planning. I keep thinking that Sunday is a good day to plan, and I've shown you my notebook, I think, before. I showed you a different one and how inconsistent I am with it. Let me open this up and I'll give you an idea. Like in July, I did some decorations for my monthly spread in July. And I love this. I absolutely love this. I enjoy doing it, but I dread doing it as well. I start thinking that it's too time consuming. It's too much work. So I did this. And then on the weekly ones, I would like to leave a place where I can write down my tasks, the things that I need to do. And I want one big running list that I can use for the week. And then maybe over here, maybe some notes, some notes and some priorities. And so I decorated this. See how much I used it? Not at all. Okay, so in August, came up with a theme. Decorated my calendar. It was fireflies and little twinkle lights. That's when school was getting started again. So I have lots of things written in my monthly. Next week, not a thing. All this was to say, this weekend, this weekend, which was the 15th, I finally decorated this. And of course, I skipped the first two, but I did this week. I have a task list, I have a priorities and a note list, and I wrote out a filming schedule and kind of tried to get some ideas, tried to put my YouTube channel into my planning as well as just school. And have I looked at this? It's still early in the week, but I haven't done much with it. I would like to do more, but this is how I hold myself accountable. So for planning, I'm going to count this a win this week because I have something. Okay? Next, reading. My reading goals. I haven't reported back on my reading goals in a while, and I have completed 2 books. I kind of surprised myself. I completed 1 novel and 1 nonfiction book. The novel I completed, I have talked about on here before. It's called Expiration Dates. It's by Rebecca Searle. She wrote a book called, One Italian Summer that I read last year and really, really enjoyed. And I started this one and I didn't get very far, so I restarted it. And I'll just give you a quick rundown. Being single is like playing the lottery. There's always the chance that with one piece of paper you could win it all. Daphne Bell believes the universe has a plan for her. Every time she meets a new man, she receives a slip of paper with his name and a number on it, the exact amount of time they will be together. The papers told her she'd spend 3 days with Martin in Paris, 5 weeks with Noah in San Francisco, and 3 months with Hugo, her ex-boyfriend turned best friend. Daphne has been receiving the numbered papers for over 20 years, always wondering when there might be one without an expiration. Finally, the night of a blind date at her favorite Los Angeles restaurant, there's only a name: Jake. I'm not going to read you the whole thing. You're welcome to go on Goodreads or Amazon and read it, but that gives you an idea. It is kind of a little romantic rom-com, but she always puts some element of magic into it. And this one, I want to say that I wasn't finding it very satisfying. I got about halfway through, and there is a twist in the story. And I don't want to give away what that is, but the twist really hit me hard. And suddenly the book seemed much more relevant to me. And by the time I was reading the end, I was, had those silent tears running down my face of just really reading a book that I connected with emotionally. And it really made me feel like there is a timing to everything. If I had read this when it was scheduled with my book club, which was in the spring, I think, and the first time I mentioned it on my channel, if I had read it then, I would not have had the same connection to this story. Things have happened since then that gave me a connection to this story, and I was like, wow. And so it was one of those books that hit me at the perfect time, and I really love that. So this is one that I would recommend. I don't know if I'd go 5 out of 5. Definitely 4 out of 5. Definitely 4 out of 5. Well worth the read, and well worth maybe reading some more of her stuff because I really enjoy her. The nonfiction read is one that my son bought. He bought it when we were out of town, and he was driving, so I was unusually sitting in the passenger seat on the ride home, and I could not resist starting this book. We had watched the movie again. This is The Big Short by Michael Lewis. He also wrote The Blind Side and Moneyball, which all three of these have been made into movies, and they're all excellent movies. He has a very unique way of looking at the facts behind some of the stories, and he weaves in some of the less fun facts and statistics into a personal story narrative that's really, really good. But this one was about, it says Inside the Doomsday Machine, and it is about the housing market crash, which was followed in 2007, followed in 2008 by the banking crash. And it talks about how this happened. And it is absolutely fascinating and a little bit terrifying because it makes you realize that all of these big institutions that you think are somewhat infallible and at least the experts at what they are doing and what they have done for generations, and find out that they can make some serious mistakes through absolute ignorance, just like the rest of us. The real crash, the silent crash, had taken place over the previous year in bizarre feeder markets where the sun doesn't shine and the SEC doesn't dare or bother to tread. The smart people who understood what was or might be happening were paralyzed by hope and fear. In any case, they weren't talking. The crucial question is this: who understood the risk inherent in the assumption of ever-rising real estate prices, a risk compounded daily by the creation of those arcane, artificial securities loosely based on piles of doubtful mortgages? Michael Lewis turns the inquiry on its head to create a fresh, character-driven narrative brimming with indignation and dark humor, a fitting sequel to his #1 best-selling Liar's Poker, which is one of the first books that he wrote after he himself had worked on Wall Street for a while and wanted to expose how much he was entrusted to do when he really didn't know anything. So anyway, this is a really, really good book. Especially as nonfiction, I'd give it a 4.5 to a 5. I could not put this down. I read it for 2 days and could not put it down. I read half the book in basically the drive home and the time right after I got home. I could not put it down. So that's what I've been reading. And now, I may have mentioned this on another, I am reading Atomic Habits. and I'm trying to get this to where it won't glare because it's got a very shiny cover. I have checked it out of the library, and the last that I told you is I had started reading it, and I got bogged down in the second chapter because I was associating with it so much. How your habits shape your identity and vice versa. His conversations about identity and how you identify yourself and how you want to identify yourself were really hitting home with me. And I stopped to journal about them and have not gotten back. And so I need to do that. That chapter 2, let me see what page that is. Okay, that's on page 29. I did finish this chapter, but then I went back and reread it. The next chapter starts on page 43. So that's where I am. And if I'm able to be consistent enough to do a Monday Metrics next week, I will be reporting on what page I'm on or if I finish this book. So that's my reading metrics. That's how I'm measuring how I did with reading. And measuring it once a week is going to be a lot better because with my reading, I occasionally binge read for 3 or 4 or 5 days, and then I stop reading for a week or two. But if I have to face this camera and say, I did no reading this week, I think that will be hard for me to do. So that's one thing. Okay, I said that I stopped to journal. I was journaling in this new little journal. How many of you go out and buy a new journal for every little whim and have a whole bunch of half-finished journals? That would be me. That would be me. But I bought this one. I saw it in a Walmart. I went to pick up some milk after I went to a 2-day educator wellness conference that was held at the very end of my summer. And one of the things it talked about is taking care of ourselves as educators and really honing in or focusing in on the things that we need. And it breaks them down into about 4 areas, but the very first one to concentrate on was physical. And I knew that I was going to have to start paying more attention to that. And if I'm going to make it through this year well, I need to start by paying attention to how much sleep I get, how much water I drink, and how I take care of myself. So I kind of got this journal because it says find your balance. It has the little moon on it, which signifies sleep to me. And I started keeping it, and I've been real spotty. Sometimes I will keep it regularly, and I will put down what time I go to bed and what time I get up. I do know that even though I'm not keeping it regularly, I will pay more attention. And where I'm a night owl, and I'm one of those kind of people that has a tendency, especially if I start getting stressed and stuff, I stay up and push myself to enjoy myself, if that makes any sense, to watch more streaming, to read something, to watch YouTube videos. I will push myself to do that late into the night and sacrifice sleep and then get 4 hours a night, and that's not acceptable. So even though I'm not journaling every night, I am paying more attention to when I am heading to bed, when I am turning off my light. And recently, my average has been more like 6 hours. I need to bring it up to probably closer to 7. That's real hard for me to do. But 6 hours is an improvement. So journaling, not so good. But that was the other thing that I was going to say. Journaling, not so good, but sleeping is the other metric that I want to do. And I'll tell you how well I am able to keep track of it on a regular basis, and I'll tell you what I am averaging. Okay, my very last metric that I wanted to talk about is my YouTube channel. Because I have been away, I am now wanting to get back to posting things, and it's important to me. So I have been, at the very beginning, I started tracking my weekly reports. On Sundays, I would print out the screen that showed me how I had done it in the last 7 days. And I'm going to put this week's printout right here. Okay? I believe that it says that I have picked up, now I can't remember. I was at 109 subscribers, which is 9 more than when I kind of disappeared on everybody. I was at either 99 subscribers or right at 100, and I kind of disappeared, and I've picked up 9 more. Now, 6 of those have been within the last, say, 10 days because I've started posting videos again. but I do want to keep growing. I had forgotten that I wanted to have a visual of my progress. And I may have mentioned this in my other video about improving your reading habits. I may have shown these, the visual trackers. But I have a tracker for, it says, watch me grow. This is for watch hours. If I want to monetize my channel, and I don't really care about the money, but I would like, okay, I'm a budgeter. Sure, I care a little bit about the money. I would put it into my savings or my vacation fund. But it's a goal. It's a goal that I know not many people reach. So I would like to attain it. And to get to it, you have to do 4,000 watch hours within the last 365 days. Well, each one of these little succulents has 20 leaves. So that in the total, and there are 20 plants. So the total of leaves is there are 400 leaves. Well, if I count each leaf as 10 watch hours, then this is pretty close. Now, I didn't color this in because I got carried away coloring the leaves on all the different green colors. I was having a good time doing a little adult coloring. And I'm actually at 377 watch hours, which means two of these leaves, if I round up, 3 of these leaves, if I round down, should not have been colored. And hopefully, by the time you're watching this, I've earned those. But, so this is a little bit ahead, but that's how far I am on my goal for watch hours. And on my goal for 1,000 subscribers. I put this on Planning My Future. This has 100 plants, and each one is worth 10 subscribers. And I didn't get all of my little pots colored, but I wanted to start, for some reason, with the shelved ones. And so I thought I'd start kind of more from the bottom with this one. But I've got 4 here, 3 here. So 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 109 subscribers. I didn't let myself color in an 11th one yet, but it will be kind of up here. So hopefully by next week I can color that in. And so that is my Monday metrics. Those are the things that I am keeping track of now. It could change. I mean, there are so many things that we could keep track of and we could see if we're improving on. That's one of the things the Atomic Habits is talking about, making those 1% improvements in little ways. Well, how do I know if I improve 1% if I'm not tracking anything? So who knows what I'll end up. I don't know if I'll track weight because I, like many of us, need to lose some weight. I don't know if I'll track my sleep more exactly in some way. I don't know if I'll track watering my plants, cleaning my house, grading my papers, whatever it is that I need to improve on. And there's so many things. But what I'm starting out with now is, this is my Monday metrics. I'm going to say that planning, I did better this week than usual. Reading, okay, I'll tell you what. I did read those books, but I'll say right now, this week so far, I haven't read it all. So I need to do something on that. Journaling, haven't journaled this week at all. I would say that's a negative, although I keep both my book and my journal right there next to my bed. Sleeping, I'm going to say I'm doing fairly well because I am getting probably 6 hours. I'm doing better than I'm not. And growing my channel this week compared to, say, the previous month, I'm going gangbusters. So that's all I came here to say. And if I have any courage or any consistency, first I will post this and it will not die the slow death that my other 2 videos have done. And second, I'll post another one next week. I guess you'll just have to see if I make it. But for now, thanks for listening. Bye.